Some Caribbean leaders are invoking the principles of the United Nations Charter and national sovereignty as they responded to the United Nations military action in Venezuela, while others are cautious with their comments on the matter and also addressing allegations contained in the U.S. indictments that suggest a regional complicity in drug trafficking. In Dominica, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit cautioned against escalation and emphasized that any response to the unfolding crisis must be grounded in international law, diplomacy, and respect for territorial integrity.
I've said so many times, the United States is one of the major contributors to our national security in terms of training, resources, etc., etc. Yes, I always tell the United States that I wish they could give us more because they can do a lot more in terms of investments in infrastructure and schools and scholarships. On the other hand, too, Venezuela has been Dominica's friend since the day we became an independent country. And since then, every successive government in Dominica has maintained good relations with Venezuela. So we cannot discount that. So we're friends of all and enemies of none. We respect countries' right to self-determine, to determine how they run a country. We do not interfere in any country's internal affairs. We never do that. What we have been doing as friends of all, and in this case, friends of both, is to offer ourselves in whatever way they believe that we can work with them in enhancing their relationship or addressing whatever differences they may have.
Turning to the allegations that Caribbean governments facilitated drug trafficking through past engagements with Venezuela, Skerrit firmly rejected those claims, saying Dominica's participation in the Petro-Caribbean agreement was lawful and consistent with international and regional obligations.
In respect to PDVSA and the allegations of this entity being used as a medium to engage in whatever illegal activities, and in respect to Dominica's relation with PDVSA, as you know, Dominica, like many other Caribbean countries, or most Caribbean countries, entered into an agreement with Venezuela under what we call the Petro-Caribbean agreement. And that agreement helps sustain the economies of all of the participating countries, including those that did not participate, because it helped bring in foreign exchange. It helps stabilize the price of petroleum products, from cooking gas to gas for our fishing boats and our vehicles. And so one cannot discount the tremendous impact of Petro-Caribbean on the agreement. But as far as our relationship with PDVSA on the Petro-Caribbean, it was transparent, it was above board. We never engaged in any illegal activities, any activities that contravene international law or domestic law or any regional agreements or international treaties. So in terms, there's nothing to be concerned about or fearful about. This government has been as transparent as the word transparent itself. And I can say to you, without any fear of contradiction from anybody, this government has never engaged itself in any drug dealing, any illegal activities whatsoever. And we can stand and say this anywhere with a very clear face and a very sincere heart.
He also declined to speculate on the details of the U.S. indictment against President Nicolás Maduro, saying Caribbean leaders have no information beyond what is publicly available and must allow due process to unfold. In Barbados, Prime Minister Mia Mottley's echoed calls for respect for sovereignty and the UN Charter was a little louder, while she focused on the immediate and practical impact of the conflict on regional travel and tourism.
I am conscious that the United States has a view that they feel strongly about with respect to the impact on their citizens of the narco-trafficking war. As to whether this is the way to deal with it or not is capable of debate, for sure. At the same time, there are those who believe that this is, in fact, a blatant breach of the articles of the UN Charter. And to that extent, the one place that we should be having conversations, even if we accept the events of last night, our eyes are in the front of our head, not the back of our head. And therefore, the time for mature conversation is this evening and tomorrow. Quite frankly, I would have expected that the Security Council should have been meeting already to be able to ensure that there are at least guardrails put in place, even as we speak now, to ensure that there is no potential for this precedent to be abused in the future by other countries.
Meanwhile, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, opposition leader Dr. Ralph Gonsalves criticized the recent CARICOM statement on the U.S. operation in Venezuela, saying it lacked an outright condemnation of the attack and failed to address the potential consequences for the region.
This statement did not make a judgment of the action of the United States of America. It reaffirmed principles which I think we all share. But it stopped short of making a judgment that this particular act was a violation of international law.
According to Gonsalves, the meeting took place via Zoom at 5 a.m. on January 3rd, 2026, and was attended by some nations including Barbados, Suriname, St. Kitts, Guyana, and Trinidad. He further encouraged the regional heads to stand resolute, but together as one as they confront the impacts of the ongoing conflict whilst protecting the interest of their own islands.
We have to be conscious that there are other players in this matter other than CARICOM, even though our countries are directly affected. And bigger players, players with greater power in the international system than we do have, though we are not without influence. And we therefore need always to be firm on the principles, make our judgments where they're required to be made with clarity, without in any manner seeking to contribute to any further divisiveness in CARICOM on this matter, and to obviate any likely possibility of the countries or leaders in CARICOM setting about cannibalizing one another.
As the situation continues to unfold, Caribbean governments say they remain committed to calm diplomacy, regional stability, and the protection of their citizens, even as travel, tourism, and security remain under close watch. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Jasmine Duncan.